Catalonia's demand for independence and the reaction by Spain's central government in Madrid is just the latest crisis threatening to undermine unity within the European Union. The potential split is driven by a number of factors, according to security policy analyst Christopher Hall.
I think first of all you have the refugee crisis, and I think that's done a lot to polarize the countries internally. And secondly, I'd say it's what I would call cultural Marxism. It is a conformance among European elites, which also exists here in America, they are politically correct and they try not to say things that the people in the country know are true. And then third, I'd say it's Russia. Russia is trying actively to split Europe apart, and unfortunately they're having some success.
But others, such as former US diplomat Don Jensen, say these differences are also driven in part by ignorance and apathy, something the Russians are using to their advantage.
The average European is unsatisfied with the European project because of immigration, because of economic problems, for example, in Greece, and because I don't think that they see the bureaucracy in Brussels as particularly responsive to their concerns, and this creates a vulnerability which the Russians can exploit and do.
Recent surveys show Europeans are divided, with people in Ireland overwhelmingly supporting the European project, while majorities in Italy and Greece say they have not benefited from EU membership. Meanwhile, Russian intelligence is now focused on Catalonia to expand its influence, according to Spanish correspondent for Madrid's El Mundo, Pablo Pardo.
Russian media outlets and also individuals from WikiLeaks linked to Russia one way or another, they are all of a sudden becoming experts in the Catalonia crisis. So yeah, I mean, Russian influence is growing all over Europe, and it's growing in very different ways. I mean, on the one hand, you have a lot of influence on, let's say, purely nationalistic forces. On the other hand, you have influence on very lefty forces. You have Russian influence at the same time on very right-wing forces. Let's say Russia is trying to reinforce and to give a boost to all kind of forces that oppose the current power structure in Europe.
The European Commission has not changed its position on Catalonia, saying it will only deal with Madrid's central government. Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy dissolved Catalonia's parliament and called for snap Catalan elections on December 21st. Bojadzievski, VOA News, Washington.